The ACFA, since 1926, is the official spokes organization for the Francophonie in Alberta. And we're also responsible to ensure that, globally speaking, that we protect the vitality of the community over the long term. We became an intervener after the original case. We were involved in the original case just in helping build it. But then once it went to the Court of Queen's Bench, then that's when we got involved as an intervener to protect the collective interests of Alberta Francophones. Monsieur Caron was an individual who was asserting his rights, but once it reached that point, that's when we got involved from more the collective perspective than the individual one. Well, it began on December 4th, 2003, when Monsieur Caron took an illegal left turn. That's never been contested, but when he was unable to get a French publication of his ticket or a French trial, that's when he started fighting to have those rights recognized. And from that point forward, that's when the Caron case that we know of today was launched. Here in Alberta, we have there's some rights that are constitutional, but that is one that is not. The Mercure case in the 1980s went through the courts, and we recognized that the right existed, but they did not recognize that it was constitutional. So that gave the province the right to overturn those rights through the language law, the Languages Act of 1988. And since that time, as a community, we've realized that there is a problem. I think the province even was aware that there was always that question that was lingering. And the Caron case really is what is established to try and make those rights that were recognized constitutional rights as such. If the court agrees with Monsieur Caron, I think that the repercussions will be quite substantial in that we will have the laws, regulations, and the publications from those laws and regulations in both English and in French. And that, I think, in itself and as a service will have broad repercussions, because then the French-speaking people that move to Alberta will have access to those things in both English and in French, and there is a huge population, French-speaking population, moving into Alberta daily. And also, I think there's also a repercussion from the point of view of legitimacy. I think when people see Manitoba, for example, they'll look at Manitoba and say, that's a province where French has a certain status because of the fact that they do have those rights recognized constitutionally. And I think it's only right that Alberta, Saskatchewan, and other provinces also have that sort of legitimacy attached to the presence of French in public life.